Good morning. We just left a motel maybe about 20-30 minutes ago, and we're finding the place where we lived in Knoxville. Actually, it's in a place called North Hills, just a little bit north and a little bit to the, I guess, east of downtown. And so Mom and Dad rented this house. Dad worked out at Sevier Yards for the railroad. And we lived here, I think, probably 2 years, 2.5 years. This is a yard that we had to mow. I can't tell if you can see exactly how steep it is, but there seems to be a lot more trees now than there used to be. We didn't have any trees in the front at that time, but we rented this house, or Mom and Dad rented the house. And we have a story that one evening, it's pretty late. David, where were you working then when you had the MG midget?
I think it was summer student engineer out at the there was a yard, Southern Railroad yard, that was, we called it the body shop. It was where they took and refurbished train cars, you know, periodically.
Okay, so it was locally, definitely.
Right,
okay.
right, and they turn lathe on the wheel, the metal wheels on the train cars, you know, because they get flat places on them.
Right.
So that was a big deal.
Right.
That's where I student engineered, rather than like co-op, and it was like just summer student engineer.
So I was in bed, and I guess it was 10:30 or something like that, and David was coming back. At that point, David had a little black MG midget, a beautiful car. And David would always park down here at the bottom, right here.
You know, you'd hear the sound.
You could tell it, an MG. Yeah,
MG sound.
And of course, if you can see how steep this is.
I'm sure Mom and Dad's bedroom was right there.
Yeah, right here on the left was their bedroom, and ours was over on the front on this side over here.
On the right side of the door.
So, David, tell the story.
Oh well, Robert embellishes it, but it was this. I had a buddy of mine, Larry Strange, which should not have been a buddy. We were out on Alcoa Highway, and I went to pass a car, and the car didn't know I was passing him, and he ran me into the, you know, to avoid the accident, I ran into the curb, and it really bent the axle real bad, and flattened the tire. And it didn't flatten the tire, but it just bent the axle. And so we pulled off the side of the road to see the damage, and it was really severe. And at that time, the axle was broken. So we was going to try to drive it home, and on the way home, I bet we wasn't halfway home. The axle broke because I guess it was just rubbing, heating, and the axle broke. So Larry and I called his dad, and his dad came to get us, and so I locked the car up and everything, like on the access road to the interstate, and I was going to walk in and just go and get it, you know, just take care of the problem in the morning. When Larry woke up, I woke up, we'd go and get it and drag it home. Dad, of course, didn't hear the car come home, heard me go in, and he said, "Where's the car, son?" I said, "Dad, I'll tell you in the morning." He said, "No, you'll tell me now." And so that was it. We immediately got up, got dressed, got the MG, and I don't remember. I'm sure we just towed it with
probably just some kind of tow rope. Yeah, I'm guessing.
You know, because we didn't call any record service or anything. We just towed it home, parked it right there where we always parked it. And Robert don't remember that, but then Dad, just our dad, it was something else.
Oh no, I remember this.
Next couple of days, I don't know how. It wasn't very long.
We went out.
We towed it out to the yard where the shop material, shop facilities was. I mean, they've got a welder and a cutter. I mean, they got all the heavy duty equipment, and we pulled the axle out. Dad had got a new axle, No, we
No.
straightened that booger.
He welded it or straightened it out.
We
He
straightened
heated
it. Heated it and straightened it. We
Yeah.
didn't get another axle.
No, put it in the
He
car.
didn't straighten, put it back, ran it a while, and then traded it.
And then traded it. So that was the end of that story. It just kind of showed us Dad kind of handled things
Robert,
quick.
you remember the dog we had here?
I had a German
Duchess?
Shepherd. Yeah, I had a
Duchess?
German Shepherd that was Duchess. And she would sit up there on the porch, and there'd be a little dog down
She
here.
wouldn't leave the yard.
No. And
She would not leave the yard, but if any dog
got in the
ventured
yard,
onto the yard,
she'd run them out.
she was hot.
She was a good dog, good German Shepherd. This is sort of to the side of Whittle Springs, where I attended half of the 8th grade, the latter part of the 8th grade, and then all of the 9th grade before we went to high school at Fulton High School. But this is where we would practice our football right here on this field. Over there, the larger building over there is the gymnasium. And that's where Coach Pay taught me how to play basketball. One of the best coaches I ever had. And he's still alive, by the way. And I plan on calling him sometime next week to see if he remembers us and our team. But he was a fantastic coach. And this is Whittle Springs Junior High. And what I'm going to do is take you on around to the other side, because David used to come and watch us practice sometimes. But then he would also wait for us to practice to finish. And we'd go down on the bottom side. He'd pick me up and take me back to the house. But many times I'd have to walk home, which was not a problem. It worked out just fine. The one thing about Coach Pay that I remember was that he said that it didn't matter if you were a small team or a large team, that the key was to be in shape and to be fast, to have fast breaks. And you could almost defeat any other team. Have specific plays, be in very, very good shape, and always try to do a fast break off of a rebound off the opposing goal, which we did. And I think we did very well. I'm not too sure we lost too many games. I don't know that we lost any.
I don't remember, Robert.
I don't either. But I know we had a very good record, but it was a junior high. But it definitely prepared us in many ways for life in general. You know, just keep plugging. Don't let anything dissuade you from trying to be better. But this was my school, Whittle Springs Junior High. Called middle school now, but back then they were junior highs. Because it was only the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. I'm not sure what it is now. That's the lunchroom. It used to be the lunchroom right there.
None of that was
None of
there.
that was there. None of those buildings. Yeah, I'm not going to drive you. You've got to be careful in this car because it's so low and you have a front end spoiler that will drag if you're not careful. And to the left here is where David would come and park in this parking area, somewhere in there. And so whenever I was through practicing, he would be waiting there and come out and get
But that's where he parked the car and
right.
walk up to the gym.
Now the Whittle Springs swimming pool was right there where this big facility is now. But spend a lot of times there during the summertime especially. We are now at the church that we attended here in Knoxville, and it's called Washington Pike Baptist Church. And when we came, D.L. Hammer was the pastor.
Dynamite man.
And he was a pastor that actually married my wife and I in Sheffield, because our church in Sheffield, Alabama called him to come down there to be the pastor, which he did. A fantastic preacher of the gospel. But this is the church that we attended until we moved down to Sheffield, Alabama.
You know, probably you may not know this, Robert, but swore that he wouldn't marry anyone that was divorced, that had been married before. And I helped him, but he was divorced, so his associate pastor married, which I can't, I don't never to remember his name. I saw that just right over my head.
But anyway, another thing we'll show you here, and I might walk around to the front of the old part of the church. But David, you might want to tell a little bit about Mom got you a job at a pharmacy.
Oh yeah, there's a pharmacy just catty corner from here. The quarter that I had to lay out of Tennessee because of grades, and I got right back in with graduating. You'd find after that my grades were much better. They taught me a lesson. But I worked at a pharmacy, like I told you before, delivering drugs. And I began down right there at the pharmacy. The little Corvairs would park in the parking lot, in the garage there. And of course that was the drugstore. And listen, after a while, I actually got so proficient. There was a code, you learned to code the price to how to do drugs, and I would actually fill prescriptions. Believe it, I learned to read doctor's handwriting, prescription orders. Now the doctor had to check them. I could not fill them and put them out, but I would fill them and he would check them. And it was quite an active
Pharmacy there?
Pharmacy.
It's Kevin Smith. I'm the associate
And Kevin's
pastor.
associate pastor, and the senior pastor is?
His name is Chris Connor.
Chris Connor.
So, yeah.
And that's here at Washington Pike Baptist Church, the church that we attended.
Where we always sit.
That's our pew.
I think.
See, I don't remember that. Well, you've got it better than me. Okay. No, I don't remember that.
There may have been a little closer.
That is fantastic. Now,
Yes, God's doing a beautiful work
He
here.
is.
And we just want to join Him at work and be obedient.
find His will and jump in.
That's right. So,
Well, that is fantastic.
yes.
Who you are, if you don't mind.
Yes,
Okay.
Chris Connor, pastor of Washington Pike Baptist Church.
And this is his
Kevin Smith, the
associate pastor or assistant pastor. Now, do you have a youth pastor yet, or
We do have a youth pastor yet.
is he on staff, or is he kind of like part time?
He's not paid staff yet. He's volunteer right now.
Okay.
Because
We're still
Fun.
growing.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
Hey, the way you're growing, you're going to have to bring him on quick. That's just exciting.
God has brought him along with me. I met him working out at Planet Fitness and just united our hearts together. I thought he was going to replace me at Fountain City Church as the youth pastor there.
Yeah.
I was youth pastor there. And he just wanted to come along, and he's, just sold out for the Lord, a man of joy, and just wants to be a part of this.
Yes.
Boy, this is just exciting what God's doing here. That's just wonderful.
It is.
Boy, I tell you what, man, it's been a pleasure to meet both of you. It just lifts our spirit.
I know you got your
Lift our
day
spirit.
planned and we're interrupting
Yep.
it, but
No,
thank you.
you enhance
Thank
it.
you. God bless you. Wow.
Never interruptions.
Wow.
Never interruptions. Just
No,
God ordained
that's
conversation.
right. God appointments.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.